What's up, fam, and welcome back to the table for another helping of the Dish Serve Cold. I am your sister from another Mr. Misperception, and I'm super excited that y'all are here to partake in the dish with me. So I want to talk today about the recent breakout star, the talented young rapper by the name of Lil Nas X, who is dominating the charts with his country hip-hop track, Old Town Road. But before we begin, I need to add my little disclaimer. Now, I'm a pretty matter-of-fact type person. I value verity and honesty. So if I'm going to argue a point, I try to come with facts or at least a rational logic to back up my argument. So therefore, if you don't like hearing the truth, if you prefer gossip, fabrications, or misrepresentations over facts, if you practice hypocrisy, or if you're just plain old ignorant, you can just go ahead and excuse yourself from the table. There's no hard feelings, love and peace, thanks and come again, or maybe not, because most videos are going to be like this. So let's go ahead and get started. So Lil Nas X, who was born Montero Hill on April 9, 1999 in Atlanta, Georgia, has appeared seemingly out of nowhere to become a hit-making, chart-topping, genre-crossing, record-breaking superstar. Now, in my opinion, his sudden rise to fame is as astounding as it is suspect. But I won't get into that right now, at least not in this video. So, he apparently had been on YouTube for some time doing comedy and building up his following. He decided to try his hand at music and posted a snippet of the song Old Town Road on Twitter in early December. He then posted the full song 2 weeks later, and through non-stop promotion, the song slowly grew a following, and within weeks, he was getting hit up by managers, A&R reps, concert bookers, etc. But he held out for a better deal. So by March of this year, Old Town Road had grown enough on streaming platforms that it popped up on the Billboard charts, specifically the country music charts, which we'll get into a little later. But he finally took a deal with Columbia Records, and a few weeks later, Billy Ray Cyrus was called in to record a verse for the remix, which has helped push it to number one. And it has remained number one on the Billboard Hot 100 list, running 17 straight weeks as of the end of July. I read that 2 days after posting the initial snippet of the song in December, he tweeted a follow-up plea on Twitter asking for help to get Billy Ray Cyrus on the song. Well, his Twitter guy must have heard him because Cyrus was approached by his manager and asked if he'd be interested in a guest appearance on the song. Well, 57-year-old Cyrus reportedly reacted with confusion but felt moved to help it, move up on the country radio charts. Now, I think Cyrus knew what was about to happen and just decided to seize the opportunity to regain relevancy and expand his fan base and his bank account. And not that I blame him. I mean, that is one of the points of collaborations, for a more popular artist to be featured on a song with a less popular artist or vice versa, in order to help the song or to help the less popular artist achieve success. It's not anything new. I would guess that if you are at least in your early to mid 30s, then you know Billy Ray Cyrus's name from his 90s hit, Achy Breaky Heart. The next generation may know him as a singer-actor since he starred alongside his daughter Miley Cyrus in the Disney show Hannah Montana and other various shows and movies that he's done. Either way, we all know that Cyrus's music career has been probably average. Unlike the continued success of, let's say, a Tim McGraw, who began his country music career around the same time and has had 10 albums and 25 singles reach number one on the country music chart, where Cyrus, in contrast, has not had a solo single on the country music chart since Achy Breaky Heart in 1992. And he's only had moderate success on other charts. That is, until this year. His contribution to the popular Old Town Road has garnered Cyrus his first ever Hot 100 single on the Billboard charts. Joining Lil Nas X was definitely a brilliant move on his part. Now, at about this time, Billboard announced that it was removing the song from the country music charts. And as I said earlier, the song had gained enough streams to debut on that chart, but it was mainly because that's how Lil Nas X listed it, as a country song. But once people saw who was singing this popular song, all heck broke loose, and Billboard was forced to remove it from the country charts. Their statement claimed that the song's removal was based on the grounds that it didn't contain the proper musical elements. So, in other words, the white country music artists, execs, and fans did not want this Negro infiltrating their sacred music, especially at this level. Nas isn't the first black man to wind up on the country music charts. As a matter of fact, there's a black country rap artist named Blanco Brown whose song The Get Up has hit #1 recently on the country music charts. But his rise maybe has not been as influential as Lil Nas X's. But I wonder if the exact same song was sung by Florida Georgia Line, for instance, who has had hits with hip-hop artists. I wonder would it still not contain the proper musical elements by Billboard's definition? Probably not. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I don't know what these geniuses was thinking was going to happen, because in the end, all of the controversy only made the song that much more popular. Within a week of the remix dropping, Old Town Road was the biggest song in the country, and as I said earlier, has remained the biggest song in the country. And of course, with this meteoric rise came fame and money. So what is a young man who only had $5.62 in his bank account when the song dropped, what is he to do with all this newfound wealth? Well, you can probably guess. Some real stupid things. But I'm just going to talk about the stupidest thing that I've seen so far, in my opinion. Okay, so let's get to the meat and potatoes. On May 21st, Lil Nas X decided to surprise his co-collaborator Billy Ray Cyrus with a thank you/celebration gift for the remix of Old Town Road being #1 on Billboard's Hot 100 for 7 straight weeks. And what gift was that, you might ask, that he decided to give Billy Ray Cyrus? A red Maserati Gran Turismo convertible with a starting price of $150,000. And we know it wasn't the base model. It was actually the souped up Maserati you saw in the video for the song. Now, Lil Nas X streamed the supposed surprise delivery on Twitter, and to no one with any common sense is surprised, a lot of people wanted to know what in the world he was thinking. Most of the criticism on social media was geared towards the fact that he just became rich and is already gifting large purchases, as well as the fact that the person he gave the gift to is worth $20 million, while his net worth is reportedly only around $3 million. So that same day, in response to all of the criticism, Lil Nas X tweeted, "For those who genuinely care about how I'm spending my money, I'm good, trust me. I've barely spent SHIT." So you know what? That may be true, but that does not negate the fact that that was a very poor decision on your part for so many reasons. So let me start by saying that at the age of 20, what he did is really not that shocking. I remember a time in my early 20s when I came across a small lump sum of money, and being young and not having much rearing in the finance department, I blew it, and it wasn't even necessarily on stupid stuff. It was more of my living off of it when I could have just stayed at home and finished school. But you know, hindsight is 20/20, as they say. But you best believe that if I came across another lump sum of money now, that it would be collecting interest in the bank somewhere. That was a very valuable lesson learned. But anyway, his response was actually pretty mature in comparison to the way some of these other stars probably would have responded. He knows that some people are just trolling or jealous and would do the exact same stupid thing if given a chance, but also that there may be some people who really are genuinely concerned. Well, as someone who genuinely cares, let me say this. Whether you have a lot of money or not, buying Billy Ray Cyrus a Maserati was just plain foolish. I say this not so much because of what you bought or how much you spent on it, but because of who you bought it for and the reason for buying it. Now, I don't personally consider Lil Nas X to be a role model or anyone in his profession for that matter, but unfortunately, because most of these kids have nobody else to look up to in real life, they choose Lil Nas X and other entertainers to look up to as role models. And because of that, he should be a little more cognizant of the choices that he makes, or at least the ones that he chooses to publicize. Showing his young fans, and even some of his old ones, that it's cool to buy a Maserati, of all cars first off, as one of your first major purchases as a millionaire, which I hope he is at least by this point, then to gift that to a person who is close to 6 times richer than you when you just attained your wealth like last month, is crazy. I mean, it's just not something that we need to possibly be influencing other impressionable people in a similar position to do. But you know what? I do like to look at things from all sides. So if he just had to buy a Maserati, he should have bought it for himself or as a gift to somebody who has been influential in his life and has helped him become successful before just last week. You know, like mom, dad, siblings, not someone who you literally just met. Okay, he feels he has to thank his collaborator. And in all honesty, he does. He can't deny that making the remix with Cyrus is what helped push it to number 1, but Billy Ray Cyrus should be just as thankful to Lil Nas. What Lil Nas has done for his career, giving him his first number 1, should be thank you enough, in my opinion. You are one of the most famous people in the world at this moment. You're surely getting paid, and if you're smart, you're going to continue to ride the gravy train while it's rolling and capitalize on the moment with new music or a new project of your own. Once again, to me, that is thank you enough, and all of that is worth way more than a $150,000 vehicle. But all of this leads me to my point that he could have done so much good with that money. Usually when we gift people with stuff, it is in appreciation or anticipation for something desired in return. Now, giving that car to his father, for instance, would be an appreciation, as we usually gift our parents or other family without wanting something in return. Now, if the person receiving the gift is pretty much a stranger, as in you have personally known them for only a couple of months, then a gift that expensive usually is given in anticipation for something in return. And we can probably guess what that is, especially if the person is of the opposite sex. But anyway, regardless, what he gets in return will likely be a short-lived, temporary satisfaction, nothing that will be as profound as if he donated that money or invested it. See, I found it interesting that when he said in his Rolling Stone magazine interview that although reluctant at first, he moved to Cobb County, Georgia with his father, which is better for him. He did mention something about his mom took off and he doesn't have a relationship with her. But anyway, he knew that staying in Atlanta would likely have caused him to fall in with the wrong crowds. And he further elaborated and stated that he started to play the trumpet in the 4th grade and was good enough for first chair by junior high school and quit because he, and I quote, didn't want to look lame. But he now wishes that he would have stayed in it. So if that's how you feel, Lil Nas X, why wouldn't you think that maybe some other little black boys like you feel the same way? That $150,000 that you spent on a Maserati for Billy Ray Cyrus could have opened up a community center in Atlanta that provides music programs that teaches different genres of music and provides lessons on instruments such as the trumpet or guitar. It was first reported on June 7th that a non-verbal autistic 4-year-old boy from Minnesota named Daniel spoke his first words while singing Old Town Road. So look of the power of that song, or the power of music in general. You know, I just think about the things that he could do and the people that he could really help if he had used that money for the betterment of his community and not the betterment of some white man's car collection. How about investing in a black-owned business or donating the money to programs or agencies that provide help for the less fortunate? But most importantly, why didn't he invest that in himself? Why didn't he set himself and any future generations that may come up after him by starting to build his wealth? One thing that we lack in the black community is generational wealth. And it's a shame that when people in other cultures die, that, they're able to pass down homes, they're able to pass down land, businesses, vehicles, stocks and bonds, heirlooms, etc., etc. But when a black person dies, what do they usually leave their heirs with? Nothing but a big pile of debts and no true understanding of their family history, their family traditions, or just any real useful knowledge whatsoever. For instance, if every year a certain percentage of black parents out here took their tax refund checks, and instead of buying Jordans, instead of buying 60-inch flat screen TVs or new cars with payments that you ain't gonna be able to afford in 3 months anyway, instead of doing things like that, you took that money and paid off debts. If you put some up in a savings for a rainy day, you can donate to charity, because I believe if you give, you will receive. And heck, even, it's nothing wrong with taking a little bit to treat yourself to something nice. A vacation, maybe a new wardrobe, some things for the kids, whatever. All of that is way more beneficial and gratifying in the long run. And the return will be greater and more valuable than any pair of Air Jordan. But you know what, to each his own. That's something I never really understood, and I guess it's just not for me to understand. I just know I'm different. That's all. But back to the point. Maybe Nas has done some of those things I mentioned, but he hasn't chosen to publicize those. No, what he's publicizing is the stupid stuff, like his gift to Cyrus. But anyway, I'm not trying to count this young man's coins. What he does with his money doesn't directly affect me in any way, but I'm sure it has influenced some of his millions of followers who see most of these rappers glorifying things that are detrimental to themselves and their communities. And who knows, this all may have just been another ploy to get people talking, therefore giving further attention to the song, therefore keeping it number one on the charts and making him all the more popular. Maserati may have even gifted the car to Nas himself and told him to re-gift it to Cyrus, all while live streaming it just for the extra publicity. He probably didn't even spend his own money, so this whole video might be pointless. So who knows? But what we do know is who wins from all of this. And that's all of them. Lil Nas X, Billy Ray Cyrus, the record companies, the producers, the promoters, Maserati, Twitter, heck, even that Postmates guy right there who helped him deliver. Everybody. But in the end, Cyrus may have given the car back and nobody knows it. In my opinion, if he was a real man trying to be a real father figure, because he says that he almost thinks of Lil Nas X as a son, then he would have given the car back or at least paid for it. He knows that was not smart on Lil Nas's part, considering that he was just broke 7 months ago. And if he's smart enough to tell Lil Nas X to buy land with his money, did you hear that? Yes, he didn't tell Lil Nas X to go buy Fendi, Maseratis, or 25-pound gold chains. No, sir. He told him to go buy land. You see the difference in those mentalities? The white man wants to buy land, and the black man wants to buy material things. So like I was saying, if Billy Ray is smart enough to tell Lil Nas X to buy land, then he's probably smart enough to know that he doesn't need a Maserati from this little dude. But for real, I wish Lil Nas X nothing but the best. I hope that he continues to be successful, that this is not a one-hit wonder situation, and that he stays humble and authentic, and that he will continue to do what he does, but do it for love and not for acceptance. But most importantly, I hope that he will think twice in the future when he faces a decision to make a purchase like that, especially if the purchase is for someone else who has a lot more money than him. I guess when you have that much money, it can be cool to have that live in the moment attitude, but you still got to keep it all in perspective. You have to be logical and you have to be realistic about your financial situation and plan accordingly. Remain versatile in the event that you do face some adversity, because hard times and surprises can and usually do pop up. You got to make sure that you have something to fall back on. That $150,000 could be sitting somewhere collecting interest and growing day by day. It would be waiting on him when he was ready to make a purchase like that. But you know what? Maybe he's certain that he's here to stay. His latest 2 songs, Rodeo and Panini, have already made it onto the Billboard charts. You know, he secured a deal with Wrangler Jeans that is already successful, and they have thousands of people on the waiting list. And you know, to be quite honest, now that he has come out, he's probably really going to be good. He has the kids, he has the millennials, he has some older folks, he has black, white, hip-hop fans, country fans, and now best of all, the LGBTQ community backing him. So yeah, his rise is likely to continue. That probably was just a drop in the bucket for him. And at least we know now why he likes those rodeo horse riding themed songs. Just kidding, y'all. But anyway, fam, that is it. Thank you so much for partaking in the dish with me on Lil Nas X's Maserati Malarkey. I hope that you've enjoyed yourselves and will come back soon for another helping of the dish served cold. Remember to like, share, and join the fam by clicking the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at dish_servedcold. You can also hit me up by email at misperception.dish@gmail.com. Please drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this purchase that Lil Nas X made. But more importantly, why do you think so many members of the Black community don't have the buy land mentality? Why would we rather buy cars and other pointless material things that at some point may lose value? But remember, when you leave a comment, please be respectful. It's cool to agree to disagree, but keep the disrespect to yourself. Alright fam, so until we meet again, I am your sis, Miss Perception. Love and peace.